blocks, but the same damn vibe. Took some L's, but we're still on toes. Too locked in, cause we don't do slow.
Yo, it's easy and I'm down with the Zal. I'm making friends with the MIDI punks now. It's all about that Web3 community. A rising tide lifts all boats, and that's about unity.
Yeah, my name is OS, I'm brand new to Web3. I can make that shit bounce. You try to mic check me. Here's my little shout out to the MIDI punks and the Zal. And if you didn't know, let me tell you, the time is now.
Zal and MIDI punks and Zal. Zal and MIDI punks and Zal. Zal and MIDI punks side by side. Different blocks but the same damn vibe. Took some L's but we're still on toes. Too locked in cause we don't do slow.
Hey, this is Trey, and I'm with the Zal. If you're with the Zal, then you better call Zaal.
DC at Zal Calendar. What's the date? What's the time?
It's the Zal. We go forward, we don't go back, we just go forward.
Yo, it's Dr. Jake on the track. We love good vibes, Zal vibes, all about the vibes.
I am a community member and lover of the Zal.
What up, MIDI punks? It's Samantha. I'm from the Zal.
Zal and MIDI punks and Zal. Zal and MIDI punks and Zal. Zal and MIDI punks side by side. Different blocks but the same damn vibe. Took some L's but we're still on toes. Too locked in cause we don't do slow.
Hey, that's the jam right there. Zal and MIDI punks with Zal. Yes, sir. What's going on, family? We got a double stream ahead for you. Just wrapped up Ohnahji Saturday at 10 a.m. PST, but we are back today with another one. Double stream, baby. Let's go. Dubs in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Thanks for coming through. I am Ohnahji B, Brian, founder of Ohnahji and Ohnahji University. This is our Undivided Attention segment. So today we have episode 5 of season 2, baby. We're going in. We got another amazing, extraordinary guest in the building. So yes, it's Ohnahji B. We're here for Ohnahji U, Undivided Attention. Today we have none other than BetterCallZaal. So I'm gonna get him in the building, and we're gonna do our W intro for show. Zaal, what's going on, man? How you feeling? What's the vibes?
What's good? I'm feeling really good. Vibes are high over here, I guess we got Jaden streaming right now, announcing big things, seeing all of the people in the community and all of the people going up in this 2025. So it's really exciting, second half of 2025. I'm ready to rock out.
Let's go. Well, heck yeah. Let's get this thing started. So I tapped in, shout out to Jaden, because that's actually how me and Zaal met. I tapped into him after he, hopped into, the UVR ecosystem, especially, had music and blockchain on the radar, right? He wasn't really into like the Web3 and stuff, but he was definitely already dabbling in music management, and we'll get into that as well too. So I met him through that ecosystem, right? He invited me to do a crazy, super nerdy blockchain intro to blockchain early on, one of our collaborative spaces, and our friendship kind of just grew from there, right? Very like-minded individuals. Found out we have like a pretty similar upbringing and things as well too. We'll get into that. But yeah, we've been building together. We started co-hosting a podcast segment together on X, on Twitter. Let's talk about Web3, which we've been bringing season 2 and adding on co-host. We got Easy and Crypto. We added in a co-host for him over on Twitch, and we're still rocking those on Wednesday nights, Wednesday evenings, and that's been a vibe, right? We're over 10 episodes already in season 2, and those have been rocking and rolling. But some of the things that I super admire about Z, when we first met, he was over here on the East Coast. On the West Coast, northern, right? I'm in LA. He was up north. Then, took a movement in the job and traveled all the way across the country to the most eastern northern part of the US, which has been, interesting navigating time zones and things like that. But I super appreciate his diving into Web3 and blockchain with the mission that he has to provide, a safe space and tools for musicians and artists, not only just trying to tackle, fixing money, which is a global crypto issue, or solve for that, but he wants to make music tools better for musicians, right? We're the music game is jacked up. Music contracts are messed up. Music management is all messed up, and artists and musicians, producers, they're all getting taken advantage of for a long time, right? The music industry has been jacked up. He's
Yeah.
one of the individuals that has seen that the music industry can really solve a lot of issues by utilizing Web3 technology. So he's a super analytical brain, super math head. He gets in there. He's getting into his vibe coding journey. He's got the dev prowess and everything. He he's a technician in a crazy field. We'll get into that as well too. But yeah, y'all put your hands together for my guy, co-host of Let's Talk About Web3, good friend Zal, baby. Yes, welcome, 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 welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Heck yes,
I
heck yes.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. We got Prism in the building. I saw him say hi, and so appreciate him in the MIDI Punks intro that we had.
Yes,
So yeah, good to be here. Yeah, you were one of the first individuals I was like starting to do my creator journey on, right? And hosting that first. Let's talk about not let's talk about Web3, but why blockchain matters for musicians. And that was a lot of fun because that's when I got to bring Django in front of a lot of Web3 folks to show their success stories. So that was a really awesome opportunity. And yeah, from there, it's been awesome to just collaborate with you on different things, see you grow, see you build. And continue to build on Ohnahji U, and then also see you be a mentor and support us at the ZAO as a whole. So, yeah.
absolutely. 1000%, 1000%. So kind of take us to the back, take us back a little bit, the start of our journey, the start of like you hopping into Web3 blockchain technology. I know one of the paths of entry was through, the GameStop situation. I know you're heavily entrenched in that, still are. So tell us a little bit about your journey into that and that transition into Web3.
Sure. So, all in all, when I met Django, I was in college, and that was about 6 years ago. That started my entrepreneurial kick into the world of going from consuming music to seeing the creation side of music and the production of music and being really interested in it. And from there, I just wanted to get more involved and kind of see different ways that I could help out. And throughout that journey, in the quote unquote regular music industry, it had its own challenges, not having any experience, not having any background, and not having any connections in the music industry. So, because of those things, it was its own challenge of connecting people, but I really thrived in the underground kind of people that were getting 0 to 1 kind of starting, wanting to pursue that music journey and think about it, whether it's a career or a hobby, right? And going from there, I realized I really enjoyed kind of helping musicians figure out their path and journey and helping them get from 0 to 1 and helping understand that. And all of that kind of culminated in when I was starting to learn more about NFTs and blockchain and what that all meant. And because of that, I started to glean a different sense of what the financial system was like. Started learning and researching a lot more into the background of some of the reasonings globally why there are challenges today in currency. And watching the GameStop situation in 2021, January 28th, when Robinhood, but Apex Clearinghouse and other individuals stopped the purchasing of GameStop shares, but not the selling of GameStop shares. And one by one, all of the other brokers kind of fell in line, um, essentially kind of putting a pause on the system. Um, Interestingly enough, the stock market's supposed to be, if there's one buyer, there's a seller, right? So it's like, if there's no buyers, and there's only sellers, like who's buying those, right?
Exactly.
But that's like what started the like questioning of like, what is actually happening here, where are we going? Started my interest in NFTs because they explained it had their own mini NFT marketplace for a bit, that they depreciated because of, at that point in 2022, regulatory concerns. Um, which, interestingly enough, there is more news from that since, but I digress. From that, that's kind of what introduced me to NFTs. That's what got me. I got my first wallet as a GameStop wallet, which
Yeah.
also got depreciated. Same thing, because of regulation, right? So,
Right.
seeing those things and seeing what was possible with, non-fungible tokens
Yeah.
and just general the blockchain validity and verification got me to start getting interested in the blockchain. And what really started me down the rabbit hole was meeting someone in person who had an NFT project that I felt like had real utility, and it wasn't just garbage. So, met her through a good group of people, mutual friends, and asked her more about the project. She introduced me to her brother, who had started building smart contracts, and from there, he kind of gave me the things to research, and then that's kind of where I was like, oh, okay, this is really interesting. And every single day from that, kind of like, it was like, okay, I need to like figure out one more thing, because there's such a big expanse of all of this, right? So
For sure.
it's kind of diving into what expertise you feel like you are best at and you really want to do. And if you can find a lane and a place for that, you can potentially find a way to monetize that in the space.
Absolutely. No, 1,000%. And that, that group that introduced you IRL, was that back on the West Coast, right? Uh
No, so
okay or
that
no?
was actually technically through my religious background. So
Okay, nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was through a conference, for the religion we practice in my family is Zoroastrianism. It's a Persian religion where there's about 100,000 people left, on like in the world in total.
Wow.
And yeah, my parents moved from India, and we have been practicing that, and I was in London for a youth congress, so kind of like a conference in different sense, but yeah, that's kind of where I saw it. The project was essentially, buying the NFT was giving you a membership into, um, therapy group, couples therapy, essentially, being able to get 3 sessions per year at a minimum, with a licensed therapist, or a licensed clinical psychologist. And she essentially, through her background, realized like that's what she wanted to do. She got into that specifically for relationship, and she's kind of built a whole business from initially starting off from there, not too much diving, continuing into the Web3, but
Yep.
continuing to use that as her early supporter. So it's really cool
Cool.
to kind of like, again, really good friend of mine. And because of everything, like, she's been able to support me throughout my whole like time in the space, and like lead me to a couple other amazing individuals that really kickstarted my journey. And in this quote unquote Web3 space and blockchain, it like became a whole new space because my non background in music and experience in music, was made up for with my experience in being able to be a technical founder, and being able to lean into that and find my own place, instead of just being quote unquote Django's manager or Django's agent, or trying to like find
Right.
my place with him. I was able to find like my place that I could then support individuals like him, as well as find other ways to reach out for Django specifically. So
Sick.
that's kind of what kickstarted everything, and like the idea of building some sort of platform for artists to really build out an ecosystem that artists could learn how to understand the financial game and the market and really bring the profit margin, the data, and the IP rights back towards them. So understanding how to bring 100% of the profit margin if their consumer spends or their fan spends $100, trying to get $100 into their pocket essentially,
Yeah.
or 99.99% of that, right?
Right, as close as 100 as possible.
Exactly. And then data and IP rights, which are the most important things for musicians. So just like understanding what that means, what really putting stuff on the blockchain means, right? Like anyone can technically hear that and steal it, right? If you don't understand like that it isn't like anything that will successfully like prevent anything on its own, but in the long term, it will be a way to verify that you were the one that created it in what time and what place that was put on the blockchain. So seeing
Exactly.
that is really cool.
Yeah, man. And that gives me a lot of insight into like your trajectory in this space, right? You came in and you were at the cusp of like one of the most glaring money's broken situations, right? And for me, I was on the outside looking in. I followed the GameStop situation, AMC, all that along, everybody, the penny stocks and whatever, all that stuff, right? But I wasn't like on the Reddit side into those, into
Mhm.
those and things like that. But yeah, I was watching it and I was just like, yeah, this is a perfect case to be like, see, money's broken. Centralization is not the wave, right?
Yeah.
These companies that can just shut things off and on whenever they want to
Hmm.
save whatever they want to. That's not how anything's supposed to work. But then also having you get onboarded in such a special way where you're being introduced to a token, a community, an onboarding strategy that has like real use case and real utility attached to it. That immediately with that mindset of knowing money's broken, that this tool can fix it, and then having the onboard into that community to be like anything else that comes your way that's like a scam or not not on the up and up, you can immediately spot it because you were onboarded into a community that was like, no, this is dope, this makes sense, this is useful. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I think I vaguely remember like that whole the therapy thing and that therapy membership NFT from way back in the day, but that's super amazing, man. So
Yeah. So that's what started me down the rabbit
yeah,
hole of like researching it, and like immediately I was like, okay, this is immediately good for musicians. And like I knew what NFTs were and why they were valuable for musicians, but I didn't
yes.
realize that they were on the blockchain.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Or
Tell me
like
about that.
I didn't I got the concept of non-fungible tokens and the fact that like you could verify something by having something digitally, but I didn't understand what a blockchain was, right?
Okay.
Until that moment of meeting the IRL and then diving deeper and researching it, right? And he gave me specific protocols to research, like ERC tokens, right? And like just like really got me an opportunity to dive into it. Like that was like 3 or 4 months before ChatGPT, so like that was insane. Maybe it
Oh
was like
yeah.
a month before ChatGPT. So it's just like the ability to like do stuff
Yeah.
like with AI initially expanded the researching capabilities for blockchain like crazy. So,
Crazy for sure.
so that was huge.
Dope, dope. So that's awesome. So tell me about, the trajectory of you kind of pivoting and just like going all in into building these music tools. So you started with, shout out to Django, he's the homie. Um, being in college with him, kind of going into the music management side. I have a little background in the quote unquote me trying some music management stuff way back in the day with a couple of my artist homies, because it started with, hey, can you read this contract, let me know if it looks solid, right? Pre GPT days, so I'm going through some of my homies music contracts like, this is the worst thing you could ever sign type vibes. So tell me about that transition from you just managing and helping out Django into you building Z Talent and then switching over into you finding out about DAOs and that whole structure, and then kind of pivoting into now we're at the ZAO.
So I actually learned about DAOs and all of that in my first year, like
Yeah.
before all the music stuff, to be honest with you, actually.
Okay. Sick.
So, February of 2023 is around the time frame when I got interested, and I heard the term Web3, saw it, researched it after all watching all those YouTube videos and like quote unquote going down the rabbit hole. I was like, okay, I'm going to search Web3 on Spotify. I wasn't a big podcast person ever at the time. But I was actually training for a half marathon because my sister had suggested it and my dad was doing it as well. And I
Sick.
wasn't gonna not do it if they were gonna do it, so I had to train for it. And as I started training for it, I searched Web3. First thing that popped up, Web3 Academy, and I was like, wow, that's really good. That's a smart like way of doing SEO in a sense. Like if I'm gonna
Right.
do that, right? Like okay, I'm gonna listen to it. Really interesting at the first. It really helped me like I was trying to run and like really trying to train to run, but like finally listening to podcasts, like I realized was a really good way of like being able to train and rock it out, right? Especially because you knew how long the podcast was. You could like time your run to be that like that, and you just like knew you would be running for that long.
Yeah.
And it just helped me train a lot better, and like especially just like thinking of the possibilities, like getting in that kind of flow state by running at the same time. So and being able to think about all the possibilities while listening to it was huge. That's where I met Candy in
Sick.
2023, and
Shout out Candy.
that's where I joined the Web3 Academy DAO as well. That was the first DAO I joined, but I also met people in person when I was in Portland, Oregon, and those individuals were I was part of PD. I became a part of PDX DAO. I've been a part of a lot of different DAOs since, but like those were like the two initial ones that like really taught me a lot and like were the ones that mentored me. And when I joined Web3 Academy DAO, there were 5 people left, and there had been at one point hundred plus. So at a certain point, 3 of them had left, and it was just me and Candy. And Candy had suggested, after all of the people we've connected with and what we're going for and what you're going for long term, I think we should try and create something for musicians and like do something. She at the time had a mutual friend that was a musician that she also wanted to onboard. That we're still trying to onboard in different ways because he's a country musician. But then that's kind of what started it. We ended Web3 Academy DAO since we were the last 2 people there, and then started to think
Mm,
about how we could leverage DAOs and our infrastructure and collective knowledge to push forward the general on-chain ecosystem or
yeah.
on-chain music ecosystem.
Very cool. It's amazing. Oh, that's a journey. You were in the thick of it in the tech side. Like, you joining all these different DAOs. Like, not a lot of people, especially right when they're onboarding into the space, are hopping into those. But I think and that's giving you such a super dope perspective on the space and on the tooling and what's out there and available in
Yeah,
blockchain.
it
So
gave me a really regenerative look on blockchain technology and how it
yeah,
could potentially solve some of the challenges that there are out there in the world with different pieces of not only financial instruments, but other places where it can solve a problem that is there. So it is a good solution, but at the same time, lots of people in the space create solutions that don't have problems as well. So it's
mm,
kind of like this catch 22 is a really good tool and a really good piece, but it's like if you think of it as a tool to solve a problem and you find a problem that has a big market, right?
yep,
And especially if you're innovative because you're using blockchain in any way, shape, or form. It's only
right,
EVM has only been out what 2017, but like really 2020 plus, right? Like I don't know, less than 10 years you can say
crazy.
for everything smart contracts, like long, like big picture. So because of that, if you got into the space right now at any point, you can, especially with AI in the last year and a half, like the last year and a half has had a condensed timeline. You could catch up on a lot of that, especially because like from when I joined to the space, from when you joined to the space, there's a lot of things that like were again problems that were there that were completely solved, right? Like
Yep,
I joined in the space when there were layer twos already that I could potentially transact on. There were lots of different brokers and places out there for you to exchange and on ramps and off ramps. There were like a lot of different pieces of the puzzle on Ethereum that had built its network effect already, and you could understand how that works and how a couple cycles through that network effect also kind of can grow and start theorizing like what that could mean for the whole industry, right? And like
Yeah.
the whole industry is super speculative on everything, where you can kind of like speculate to the point of literally quite anything you could think of, right?
Yeah,
And it's
for sure.
and as one of my friends at the very beginning of the starting the DAO, right? And starting the DAO, you can't. A DAO means a decentralized autonomous organization. So what that means, decentralized, you'd have to look it up and start to learn and understand it for your own. But because that's
No,
the
no,
rabbit
no,
hole.
give us
But
a
I
give
don't
us
know. What
a
would you say is the definition for decentralized?
it's not owned by a single entity. So
But like, so
basically
you think
explaining
three
the
people
opposite of
is?
centralization.
But you think three people is decentralized?
In the in the case of like a DAO, like a 3-person DAO or something like that, or I mean, like no, but it's more decentralized than one person.
Okay,
But yeah,
that's
it's
fair.
not.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. That's a good definition. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would just more be, um, yeah, yeah. I don't know. That is a good definition actually. Now that I think about it, well said.
I think, yeah, and that's the thing. That's the hard part about the space is like we got acronyms to new terms and words and things, and you have to explain what the acronym is. Then you have to explain what those words are. It's like, and that was a big, pain point for me in the space too. Like early on, and I was just like, okay, we got to break all these terms down and explain what it is, what they mean, And I still am guilty of like just flinging them here and there when we get to going and start talking, and stuff, and get hyped up on the tech in the space. And it's like I'm throwing around all these kind of words. I got to slow down. Like nobody really even knows it. And then once you throw out one of those terms, then you lose people. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's cool. I'm excited to see like how your growth in the space. Like, I'm super impressed, and like I'm so excited to see a full cycle with you.
Mhm.
Just because you kind of came in at the tail end.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
if you're gonna say full cycle, right? Like,
Yeah,
what is your advice for people, other people coming in, right? And experiencing
yeah,
just like blockchain for the first time, and then also quote unquote their first bull run for the first time, right?
yeah,
I'd love to hear some of your thoughts there. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm super excited. I have a lot of ideas, but like you
yeah,
said, I'm sure that my mind will be blown through. Like just seeing what like the administration has pushed through in the
yeah,
last week. So I don't know, good or bad. I heard you guys talking about it earlier today.
yeah. And
So
and shout out to Prism too, because he was talking about on our last call or our last, back channels call where, you know, companies and things, they'll wait till there's market movement and they'll wait till like a bull's
yeah.
about to hit and then start announcing other stuff. The government's
Well,
the same
everyone's
way.
announcing things right now because of another announcement, right? Like with
Exactly.
Coinbase. So that's another
Exactly.
huge piece of the puzzle, and like, yeah, that's gonna be nuts. I heard you guys also talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. we be going in, we be going in on the Ohnahji Saturday. But I mean, even the government too is, still waiting for their announcements when it comes. They're still timing these things strategically. They've
Yeah.
had a task force that's been, investigating, putting out papers on their findings on crypto and the whole space and stuff
What do
too.
you think the US is overall in the last, since I've joined, right? Like I only have one
Yeah.
perspective, but you have a much longer perspective of like, okay, even before the Biden administration, the administration in the US has been really hostile towards crypto as a whole, whether it's Democrat, whether it's Republican, for certain
Hmm.
reasons because they can't control it.
Hmm.
And because of that, just happens to be a big part of this last election. A lot of different guardrails in the government as a whole have been completely removed. And crypto is happens to be part of the consequence of that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that as a whole the administration believes the same ethos as the original people that are or community that are building this blockchain community, right?
Well, yeah.
So a lot of that can be a challenge with seeing all of the success in that, but at the
Yeah.
same time, that is what needs to happen for quote unquote more people to adopt the technology and understand it, because it needs to be behind the scenes and completely abstracted away so
Hmm.
that most end users can use it and can get the benefits of it but don't have to completely understand it.
Exactly. Exactly. Which I get on one hand, but also, like the emerging tech or the super tech math head. Like I like being in those fringe spaces, you know what I mean? But I understand that not everybody wants to know the ins and outs of what this stuff does. They don't. They don't at all. But I think for me, you hit the nail on the head. It's like it started like that with a bunch of different people, with businesses, with individuals. It's like at first they don't understand it at all, or they don't even know about it. Then they discover it, and they have no idea what it is. Then after that, they're kind of like, no, I'm gonna stay away with it. I stay away from it. Only the people that are using it, or they're using it for nefarious things, drug trafficking or whatever, black market stuff, blah, 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 blah. So, but then once people, dive in and actually are using it for to better humanity instead of, just their own pockets or greed or whatever to get over, as a financial vehicle, governments, people, everybody else, the whole majority starts to trust it more. And I think that's where we're at. And a lot of people will criticize that and be like, well, okay, the governments and other analysts or whoever, it was just like, um, it's just like, no, we're going to stay away from it. Right. But then people are like, okay, but you said in the beginning, this is the worst thing on earth. But now you're turning around like 10 years later, 15 years later, and you're like, this is the greatest thing on earth. It's like, I can see why the general public is like, that makes no sense, especially they don't explain why they have those stances over time
Why
and why
the
those stances change.
transition is, yeah, what happened with the
Yeah.
transition?
There's no transparency on why we went from point A to point B. Simple as that. So
Freaking
I don't know.
nuts.
So I mean, what do you think? Because I think and I say things like buckle up. You had mentioned, you said real quick, you had said, what are some things you would tell people getting in, right? And if it's getting in right now, I would tell them have a solid plan, know how much it's a financial vehicle, so know how much you're trying to put in risk, and it could go to zero, it could go to millions, whatever, who knows. But have a solid plan and also balance and get some sleep. Get your sleep because there's
Those
gonna
are good
be
pieces of advice. That's a
yeah,
great. Put in
you're
a
gonna
stop loss and get sleep.
exactly, and you're gonna miss some stuff. You're gonna
Yeah,
miss a whole bunch of great plays. It's inevitable. So,
that's good
and
advice.
then just network with people that you care about that are like
I
minded,
like
have like
that.
minded views. Yeah,
I
just
like it.
network.
I think there's in this space, there's if you have some hobby in one thing or another, there's going to be somewhere across the internet that there's a group of other people that have that same hobby. And because of this technology, you can create a community in a different aspect and leverage blockchain in that and find people in a permissionless way, which a lot of these are, higher level terms, but like all that means is that anyone can kind of come in and join any of these communities. So if you have some niche community, you might be able to find through some subreddit of some group chat of some Telegram of some Discord, right? And find that group for you.
Yep, 1000%. So tell me, Z. Let's go. Let's get dive into the future. Like, what do you predict? What do you predict's gonna happen? What do you predict with the ZAL, with Z Talent? Like, tell me some of those big goals and dreams. We're gonna make them happen. I'm telling you. I told my
Okay.
girl, I told my girl some of my goals for this next cycle, and she was looking at me like I was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. Okay, well, you're gonna have to share yours then.
You said what? Oh,
I
okay.
say you're gonna have to share yours then. The
All
biggest
right.
thing, like, if I was going to go and try and get funding for something and like really like
Yeah.
quote unquote try and like make a unicorn out of would be to attack the trading cards like space, because that's like what I truly love. Am like very hobbyist invested in and like have always loved my whole life. And I have now started creating from our live events musician trading cards that have three different artists on it: the musician, the visual artist that created that from a video from the musician, and then the animator also who added an animation. So kind of seeing that all come together, starting to build towards a future where we might be able to create a game out of that has been kind of the thing I've been looking forward to in the background, and kind of starting to build those networking connections to, excuse me, make that dream a reality.
That would
Excuse me.
be. I remember us having that conversation. Like you've mentioned, the trading card, that industry, bringing it into Web3. You mentioned that a couple different times over our journey. I think now is a time we could try to start cooking it up.
Yeah, no, I mean 1,000,000%. It's I Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. Maybe we should use Let's Talk About Web3 as vehicle to
Yes.
redistribute out those original cards, because we re-released the Add Buddy card, but we haven't re-released any of the other cards.
Yeah.
And I do want to put those pieces out there so that in the Nexus, on the website, everywhere, we can have those as an option for people to buy, and really leverage the power that's out there
Mhm.
of this ecosystem.
I love it. No, you got my brain spinning because people haven't utilized like metadata and the traits in the way that they interact. Like for a game, we have the chains now that
Yeah, do you want to hear my idea for the game?
yes, absolutely.
Okay, ready?
But then we have to build it because
Yeah, yeah.
somebody's going to go swoop on
I
your
mean, someone
idea.
can take it. It's fine because like I'll use my cards on that. If they build it the way I'm saying, like I'll be
Yeah,
able to use it. So, like if
right.
they build it the way about to say, then
We're gonna build it.
the
We're gonna
more the
build
better. But yeah, no, I
it.
mean, you
Go
won't
ahead,
be
break it
able
down.
to. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of everything we do.
Oh,
Um,
screen share.
so
Let's go.
these are some of the cards, right?
Mhm.
Each of the artists from Zalpalooza has a card, and we're currently working on the Zaucello animations, right? And from that, we have cards are artists, and each artist will have, in my mind, and this is all from now, like ideas and assumptions and brainstorming in the future. Each artist rarity will be based on how many songs they can have. So
Mhm.
ultimately, they can have more songs if they have a higher rarity. And let's say for those songs, the battle itself is a trading card 1v1, and essentially, it would be a duo battle, but kind of also with a style of collaboration, because
Mhm.
it would you could pick, like, at the beginning, your like star power is the artist, right? And you put the artist out, and from that there are different stems from the song that you have, or songs that you can choose, and they get shuffled into your deck. You can play them and they will add to the song or remove from the song, and will create a algorithm or an AI that can give you points, as well as people that can come in and watch that can also make a difference as well. So something where the actual gameplay is playing and understanding the artist's music so much to a point where you can really learn the stems of the song and play it in like a battle to create new music. And with blockchain, we could probably mint those songs too. So like
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
so much like creation and collaboration from that can be created, and that could really make those. That's where, like, when I get asked about those cards and like what I think and like my long-term thing is, like, if I'm going to make those valuable, how am I going to do that? And that's kind of like where my mind goes, is if I can create a whole game and ecosystem around this culture of trading cards that is kind of like sports cards where it's real people, but you can actually leverage it in many more ways because it has this NFT status, this um, ability to be digital, and then also potentially leverage it as a networking opportunity for those artists as well. So, um, and in the end of the day, the artist kind of performed at our event, and all of this is kind of in addition to that. So if we can add in some sort of revenue stream where we are having people buy these, right? Like it's kind of giving back to that artist for that initial kind of investment in the ZAO and just being there and being with us, even if yeah, even if they aren't continuing to collaborate, but like just having that like permanent lifeline and showing of like all of these artists that have performed and a way to bring them back into the fold as well if they're interested. So I
Right.
think a cool card game initially would be something Wave War styled, and then branch out from there with other artists that we've leveraged. So yeah.
Man, yes, like that. No, you're cooking. That sounds no, my brain's going a million miles a minute because yeah, we could utilize like the nested NFTs for like, decks and all kind of stuff. Like people haven't scratched the surface on NFTs, to be honest. Like everybody's like NFTs came and went, it's dead. No.
I'll tell you the 3 games that I like have played, and this is like what makes me good for this specific venture.
Yeah,
And I'm curious if you've heard of any of these 3 or how much you know about them, and then I can
yeah.
explain any of them. So Magic the Gathering, and then Hearthstone,
Hmm.
and then I don't even know if there's a third specifically, because that's the biggest two. And then I played a little bit of Gods Unchained and a lot of other trading card games in general. So
Sick.
I guess that's just like other, right? I have tried a bunch of the Web3 ones out there, and those. Have you heard of either of those two,
Oh yeah, oh
Magic
yeah.
or Hearthstone?
Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't play either. I'm not like super into like
cards.
playing card games.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, a couple of my homies growing up, they were like super into Magic.
Dude, do you want to
Yeah,
know? Apparently, my first steps or crawl was towards an ace of spades when my family and grandparents were playing cards. So yeah, cards is deeply embedded in our family.
there you go,
We
sick.
love it. With my grandma, that was like a very big pastime that we used to like, especially with a little bit of a language barrier, right? Like there was that
Mhm.
extra piece of like, okay, like you could just play cards and it's just like a different piece of the puzzle of like being able to break through that language barrier. So
Sick.
yeah, we played cards a lot in a lot of different ways in my whole life. So in high school, I was the president of the Card and Board Games Club for 3 years. Right, like we got deep into it there. My teacher that was there was awesome. He would bring in new games every couple of weeks and every month. It was a lot of fun. Just like learning different mechanics, understanding like how power scaling works, like just like understanding game mechanics and game theory as a whole got me really interested in like how games worked. And then
Yeah,
in high school, I also started to get into Hearthstone, and then in college, I actually played for the collegiate team for a little bit. And then transitioned into playing a couple games of a season of Fortnite, and then transferring into helping support and mentor new players, because I mean I wasn't good enough, and I never really enjoyed shooting games that much.
yeah.
Like I said, I was more in that strategy and gameplay. But their practices were also Fridays from like 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. So like not
That
really
was cooked.
happening for
Yeah,
me.
you're right.
That's why I stopped to go to the Hearthstone team. So
Dang. And
yeah, no, it was a lot
Hearthstone
of
is
fun.
from the
World of
Blizzard IP,
Warcraft,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
World of
Cool.
Warcraft lore. Didn't know any of that.
You
Didn't
didn't?
care
Oh yeah,
for it.
you're
No.
that young. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. That was a good time. That was a good
99,
era.
baby.
That was a good era.
What year were you born in? If you're if
80,
you're if you're okay,
84.
84. So 15 exactly, yeah. And what day is your birthday?
December 19th.
Okay.
Yeah, Sag Gang.
That's like pretty exactly half a year almost. I mean November 1st is my half year, but yeah.
There you go.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
man. That's too funny. So, yeah, I
yeah.
remember. I remember all that. That's dope. I owe you a game of Catan or something when we
Yeah,
meet up
yeah. Oh yeah,
IRL.
yeah, dude. We
Um,
could do it right
yeah.
now.
No,
As we
no.
dude,
I
like
like the tabletop one though. I
ah,
like the. I tried a couple of the
dude,
digital
so
versions. Ugh, all right, it's
oh
all
okay. They're really fun because like I met someone wildly. Okay, so through Daniel Obute, actually,
right. Okay.
right? He was interested in these individuals that were live streaming. They had just started put out a token, started live streaming daily. Um, and they were out in LA, and I had traveled there for the trip, meeting you, for a trip to meet an individual business for business, right? And I made it a way to meet a bunch of friends as well. Met you, went to the Angels game, continued, and eventually, while I was there, started watching their streams, tapped in, started chatting a little bit because saw Daniel chatted and was saying something, and then I actually needed a place to stay from like 10 p.m., like 8, like during the day, one day till like 4 a.m. because my flight was at 6,
Right.
right out, and I just like kind of called them, pulled up on them, chatted for 7, 8 hours on stream, hung out, vibed out, played a bunch of Catan there because that's how they did it. They just set it up because while they were streaming, they were like inviting whoever was joining in to play, right? Like, so I could be streaming every night, and then like the people that regularly drop in could just like play Catan with me, right? So that's a big part of like that benefit. And then he also was playing Monopoly Go, I mean Monopoly, with other people online. So
That's
yeah, no,
tight.
there's a lot of cool card games you can play online with other people. That I mean, I would always be down to play and stream if you're down for it. Especially like Jaden's been doing and cooking up and killing it. These collaborative nights where we bring individuals together to just like create content in a fun, organic way instead of just like content farming. I don't know.
Right.
So, the individuals we invite could be interesting, but I feel like we could get a couple awesome individuals from our two communities. Dude, it would be really fun to do a little like mini Olympics, like Ohnahji versus Zhao.
A little community battle type joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't even
Yeah.
have like not with Wave Wars is what I was thinking, but like
Yeah.
that could also be another way. But like not
Exactly.
that like I think money should be involved in a battle like that.
You said you
But
do or don't?
no, I don't because like I don't know. I don't like that. Like I don't
No
like
prize pulls for you?
well, we could do it as a community thing too. So where like it could go to a pool and like it's for something or I don't know. Could be a
That's
couple
cool.
ideas there. But dude,
Absolutely.
my vision and has always been before Jaden started doing the streaming. That's why when Jaden started doing the streaming at the beginning, I wanted to tap in every single day because he has a very different mindset towards everything in the music industry and Web3 music on chain industry than I've seen a lot of people. And I really believe that he has a future in that. And I've always thought that the future of like what we could really collaborate on, like music battle, stream wise, is create a environment where me and you are in this one-on-one battle and I'm able to stream it to my community. But then
Mhm.
there's also a way where, um, Candy, Hurricane, Antibody, all
Yep.
these individuals that might be tapping in and watching it are also able to have their own Twitch communities and stream it to them, right? And like conversely, kind of create this cascading effect of like creating, especially like having an Olympics where like individuals who are, let's say, have personalities or creations, right? Like might have it on X, although X streaming is really frustrating because you have to have pro, right? But
Yeah.
like but we could do different Farcaster versions as well. So I digress. I think there's a lot of fun things we could do with it.
Cool.
Maybe with Let's Talk About Web3 as well.
Heck
And we could
yes.
invite other podcasts, stuff like that. Maybe like even a fun trivia game, like make a bot and put it online. And like in 24 hours, you have to answer certain questions and it asks random people. So like you have to go and get them and make sure they're online and like be with you know what I mean? And like make sure they answer the question or like team up together and figure it out. But I guess it's kind of hard also
Sick.
to do the trivia type of questions where anything online is available. So you know how it is.
Yeah, but you just gotta use, yeah, but most people they'll just play fair. You can tell the people who are like looking up answers and stuff or whatever, but yeah, thousand
You
percent.
think?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Okay. I,
It's funny because you're outlining all these ideas and it's like giving me like the nostalgia back to like when we first started the Discord for Ohnahji and like servers were playing like those Gartic games and stuff together and all that good stuff. And yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. I'm telling you, Z, it'll all come back. It's gonna be in a flood. And
What do
Nobody's
you
gonna.
think? Okay, so
Right.
what do you think the best thing is to prepare for that? Because I feel so under prepared
I mean,
right now for
what I
that.
mean, what do you think you could do? Like it's.
Put out a token so we could take away,
I mean,
take take some of the attention and turn it to capital, right?
yeah, you can, or I mean, you can definitely.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. I'm just putting that out there,
No,
right?
no,
I'm
I
not saying
understand.
it's
No, I
not a good
understand
idea.
completely. I think you can like I think you're already doing that though. You're already building the tech that you want people to use and to know about in the community that you want them to join. You're already building that all throughout the bear. So when people find out about it or they're going to, get introduced to it one way or the other through your network, through extended network, they're going to, come upon you. Then we're going to be like, okay, we need to build more and more and more and more and more, which is fine. But you're already doing the steps that you need to like house your community and teach them the
So you
tools,
don't
show
think
them the
there's
different things.
you think continuing to advance the current things I'm working on is okay
Is
as
the Oh
a
yeah,
best like practice moving forward at this
a
current moment? Like,
thousand
not
percent,
okay. There's
a
nothing I'm
thousand
missing.
percent.
Like that's what I'm like trying to feel like other like I do think the Wave Wars creation and having that out there as a whole as like uh brand that has been created from the Zao. Second, kind of because Zao Festival, Zaucella,
Mhm,
and Zalpalooza all have like their own mini brands and IPs towards them.
mhm,
But just like having these different products available and like abilities to bring people to a specific thing that we're doing consistently that we have out there that can grow and can scale and can bring in people. My challenge and fear is somewhat is like people that will join sometimes won't capture that and different things. But
yeah.
we do have a new thing, like I was saying, something I can't mention for the first time publicly that I feel
Ooh,
like because I personally am I'll say everything, but like this time it's not just me, right? So
right.
like that's what sucks. But it's awesome, and I think it's an amazing point where we can leverage um the tech with abstracted available things to really capture our audience in a good way and also be able to capture the data and metrics, if you know
Sick.
what I mean. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to partner with this and not partner with this company, but like leverage this company and ecosystem and be whatever we can do to showcase what Wave Wars is in addition with this and really rock it out. So
Heck yeah. No, big things in the future. Nobody has anything like that. You're building a
yeah, no,
one of a
I mean
kind
I very much know
ecosystem.
I am indeed like building a super unique thing, and that's like the thing to keep
Exactly.
growing out for the moat, right? Like you have to build out your moat for like, and
Mhm,
that's what I've been trying to do and leverage where we have a really really awesome ecosystem of individuals that care about the greater future that we are building.
mhm,
And I think that's what you need because if your greater ethos is that, money will come, right? It's this concept. So I think it's from one of my favorite YouTube videos, which is actually just an audio called "The Stranger's Secret" by Earl Nightingale. And he says, if you put a bunch of sticks together and you say, "Give me fire," and then I'll light the match, right? Like it won't just happen, right? Like you have to make the things to make the action to make that happen, and then the reward comes with that. So it's kind of like the doing
mhm,
the hard work will naturally bring rewards, and if you focus on the hard work, you can find reward in that, and also then you get extrinsic rewards as well when you focus on those intrinsic battles, rewards, and journeys, right? So I think learning and understanding that and like being so blessed by my parents to really understand what hard work and good work ethic is and being able to also be blessed with the intelligence and blessings and understandings of like growing up under them. My dad's an engineer, that's why I got into engineering. I got my electro engineering from
uh,
RIT, and my mom's in a CFA, so she's in finance and deep into that, but like in like the super trad fi bonds, and I still don't really understand bonds and whatnot, right? So it's like kind of do, but like, don't really even like when we talk, it's very different languages in what I'm doing in finance, but I'm also doing a little bit of like understanding economics and like learning a lot more of like what that side of it is. So really being able to be blessed to take a little bit of both of my parents and be able to be blessed with such a good upbringing, able to be educated growing up and like be able to go to all of these um places and be able to grow from that, but then also to be able to learn that like now especially I can help educate the masses without necessarily having to go through, I went to private school my whole life, private Catholic Jesuit school, even though I'm not a Catholic, like I said, because my parents thought that that'd be best for my education. And then I
Right.
went to a private STEM college, right, like a private tech college, because I also thought that that would be best for my network. And like in the end of the day, college is for the piece of paper at the end and the connections you make along the way. And I
Yep.
feel very blessed about those two things that I have. For a lot of different reasons, had a lot of amazing connections and grew a lot. And I knew a little bit of that growing into it. So like at that point, once I was like in college and like I knew kind of like where my barrier of like where I needed to go to keep a scholarship was and like what I needed to do to get that, I kind of was like, okay, I'm not gonna spend the extra 10 hours a week in college trying to get the extra 5 points. Like I'm gonna enjoy the time that like I am here for the first time, not in your parents' house, able to do what you want with your time, but that also leads to time management challenges and learning that, right?
Yep.
And then like also living on your own and having the responsibilities of on your own. And if you want to do your daily responsibilities, doing that, building your habits, all these like mini things that you don't realize that can help be corrected by being at home and like having those things. So all of those interesting individual challenges were super worth the freedom of not being new to a completely new ecosystem that everyone was new in, where people were trying to like learn and work and like also like peers of equal and way more intellect than me in different ways. Like there were definitely a lot of those individuals in school in different ways, but it was to a different level. They were all smart in different things. Like I definitely had like my lane, but like in college it was absolutely insane with the people that were there that were just so friggin' smart in all of the different lanes. So it's really cool to like super understand that I'm like very much like once I got to the big C, like very much a small fish, right? Like and be like, okay, like I have to be content with that. What am I gonna lock in on and understand? And yeah, I did a lot of really cool things in college that I'm super blessed for and like
Sick.
still connect with, a lot of different individuals. That's like where I'm at Django. That's a huge part of like the second half of my part of college too, like where I grew into that and like yeah, like building those connections were a huge part of my journey through that. So like I'm blessed to be able to have gone through that. But like my friend and I agree with people have always said like engineering, lawyer, and doctor are the only three things you should probably get a degree in. Like that was when I was starting to go to college. If people were starting now, I wouldn't even say those three things were three things you should get
Right.
into.
For
So it's
sure.
like A, it's moving so fast, and B, I'm super blessed to have a field and knowledge in something that like is how things work, because as we get to this idiocracy phase of like more and more AI and more people reliant on even more and more technology, just like the GPS and other things have created, understanding that that will as a whole create a dependency and need for it for lots and more of everything. So
Yeah.
it overall will reduce the cognitive load for people to need to know that, and they'll do it for other things, and that can be good for some people and really bad for other people. So
Right.
like that challenge will be something that like has always in a sense been there, like where some people thrive and can live from the ecosystem and some people don't. And the challenge recently, I think in the last, let's say 50 to 70 years, maybe less than that, maybe more than that, let's say 30 to 70 years, right? In some time frame of that, maybe even more. When was the gold standard removed from the US dollar. Like, let's say
I
whenever
think,
that was to now.
yeah, those are
I don't know. I think that's
it's
probably in
the
that
Reagan
time frame,
era, I
right?
think, right? Is Reagan era is when it gets
Dude,
tossed
I
out
don't.
there.
I
Yeah.
anything before '99, it's like up in the air to me. So, like
Yeah.
I heard this fallacy that it was like, and if you take the approach sometimes of like anything, you hypothetically speaking, and this I heard in high school, so like hearing
Yeah.
this like definitely changed my mindset towards like life. If you go with the mindset of like hypothetically speaking, before you're born, every single textbook and person and everything could have a conspiracy of like lying to you about something or another. Like you don't know
Mm,
for a certain anything is true before you were born. And then even after that, right? Like anything that isn't from your perspective, you don't know is true, right? Like, and that is people's,
interesting. Yeah.
perspective is people's reality, right? Like perspectives can be different. And that's why people see different things from the same situation, right?
Right. Correct.
And a huge part of living in that way and like your perspective is when you can hopefully understand other people's perspectives a little bit better and like step in their shoes, right? Like that's a good action, analogy for like being able to jump right in there and like understand perspectives. It changes your viewpoint, and I think being able to get into the Web3 space and network with individuals from all over the world, of all different types, of all different genders, of all different races, of all different, everything all over, right?
Yeah.
Like literally you don't know who the person you're going to meet is, like especially in real life sometimes, right? Because some of these things are on completely audio spaces. So it's a really cool space to be in because it really does have that diversity of you don't know who's at the other side. And that kind
Correct.
of brings it back to like for me not be having the baggage of not knowing people and not having industry experience and not being around the music space completely changed the space to having like I said, a degree in something that's technical, as well as loving computers and being diving into computers for a while, and then like even just like leveraging Discord since 2016 from when I was in high school playing video games, right?
Right.
And like
Right.
just that point of like being proficient in Discord before joining Web3 was a huge lever that like not a lot of people had. Like a lot of people that joined at
Exactly.
like that diversity, equity, inclusion point, like non-tech people had the challenge of like when that was important was a little bit before my time, to be honest with you, like super important. I still do think Discord is friggin' probably state of the art, right? Like
Yeah.
we both
Facts.
use it. So but like what it was in for the crypto space is no longer, right? Like it's not the same thing, right?
Yep.
And it doesn't have that same speculation that it did before and like amount of people being super bought into it. But like there's so much in just being able to leverage your systems at hand and like being able to leverage the power stack and the technology that you have with you and being able to do that to really high heights. That's when I like investing in people, whether that's time, money, social capital, right? Like connecting them with someone, because especially like some of our individuals in our communities that are from Africa or India or Europe, especially sometimes, and they have a phone and they rock out like some really cool things, and then they can learn to use that and leverage the space to upgrade that, and then like build their compute, right? And like that's what I'm really interested in seeing is like how can we leverage these systems to build or lower the barrier to entry to these spaces, right? And like that's
Mhm.
what blockchain does. And also be able to, with what you're doing with Ohnahji University and what we're doing with the ZAO, help leverage knowledge and share that as the zero sum resource and build these open source technologies and tools that people can use to just plop in some things and be able to leverage the space without having to really understand every single little bit, but have to be able to understand like the community and the trust of like lots of other people that they know that are using this, and like they could, if they wanted to, go to an auditor and like ask like, let's look into the smart contract. Or if they wanted to really do it themselves, they could go to the smart contract, ask AI like back and forth, and like
Yeah.
really dive into it and learn about smart contracts, right? So like that is the extra beauty of the space. It's not a complete trust thing. There is that validity on the blockchain.
Yes, sir. Cooking. Z, you cooking. You out here spitting,
Yeah.
speaking. I love it. I love it. Um, let's get a little bit into the lightning round, but I just want to say,
Ha.
W parents, W upbringing,
Oh
W.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
let's
they're
set
they're
you
the
up.
best.
Heck
Super
yes.
super amazing. When I went through my biggest challenges in my life,
Yeah.
they were unbelievably welcoming and open arms and loving, and like were
Sick.
able to like give me what I needed in that time to recover and heal and understand that not everyone has that same safe space and network and like community really to sit and thrive on. Because like I was talking about earlier, like we have a community that we I what like a religious community locally as well, like not only
Yeah.
the individuals that went out with us for the youth organization in London, but like we have a close one. And like my parents are super involved in that, and I've always been since I was a kid. Like we were at it at the beginning and like helped setting up, and like we were at it till the end and helped putting everything away. So we like saw everyone, knew everyone, we're very ingrained in it, and like seeing that part of community, being able to help model a little bit of this out from that, from Ohnahji University, from communities, from all the Jaden Violet, UVR, from all these communities that are out there, was a big part of how I was able to build such a amazing group of individuals, because being able to model these amazing, real cool communities uh, was a way that I've seen community work. And people say that word in a lot of different ways, and I think it means a lot of different things. And all it means is an organization or a group of people that you can join. That when you put in hard work, you'll get 10x, 5x, 100x, 1,000x out of that, whatever that means.
Yeah,
But like
for sure.
that's a good community. I mean, like you can have toxic communities. There are communities, right? And the word of that are toxic and bad. And right, like, that's when you put in your 10%, and you're only getting the 1% out of that. It's a very extractive community, whether that's financially or time. So
Hmm.
um that's kind of like where I see good communities, and like when people can build and come bring those communities together in a way where the volunteering for it is not because they believe for themselves it's worth it, but for the greater good of the individuals around them. And if
Yeah.
we can build that, excuse me, we can build that essence and thought into people, like it'll really help. And I think that's some of the challenges in the US, honestly, in the last
For sure.
however many years, because like
Facts.
communities have been eroded, and like it really is sad, but like unfortunate. But like Web3 is definitely a really cool way to also see some of the other sides of the world where like that shit isn't there, and like
Hmm.
it's different, and like seeing other ways that like it's successful and possible in these other places around the world. And being able to see that gives me hope, and like hope for a better future of like especially us being able to connect cross border through these financial systems, but also musically, like through these barriers across communication, right? So
Yep. 1,000%. No, I love it. I love it, man. It's yeah, it's shifting what humans know on their head, and it's cool. It's fun to be in it. Let's get into the lightning round, Z. You cooking? Let's
okay,
get into the
let's do
lightning round.
it.
All right.
I was also thinking we should do a lightning round because of seeing your show and a couple others. We should do a lightning round on Let's Talk About Web3 with our guests. So
Yeah,
we
I'm
have
down. Let's do it.
both of them, Santiago and Clementine, back. We should
Sick.
definitely do one with them, but like we should start brainstorming questions.
Okay. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All right. So we're gonna start off with the easy ones. Whatever comes to mind first.
Okay.
Z, if you're a pet guy, dogs or cats?
Ooh, probably dogs. I'm
Really, bro?
allergic to both.
Same. Same.
So it's like, wait, so, but do you have animals?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you've been able to live in a house and with a family that is okay with not having it. That's insane.
My
I
my
have
dad's
like
got
an
really bad allergies too. So yeah.
okay. That's
Yep.
what. Wait, okay, yeah. So the family that I have my girlfriend's family has always had animals, and like going there has been its own journey, right? And like understanding like, okay, what pills I gotta take, like allergy
Right.
pills wise, and like I have asthma, so like what we gotta make sure I got that on me. Like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like they also clean up, the room before, and like it's
Right.
just learning more about it. So but since that, right, like moving in together and whatnot, it's been okay, so like what can we do? Where can we test out? Right? Like where do we want to go with it? So yeah, I can
That's
only
funny.
imagine it's that's what that's like. We didn't grow up with any pets, like I said, but that's
Right.
just like wasn't our style, A, but then also because I was allergic was probably another big thing.
Right.
My sister's a lot big, probably very similar in that vein where like they're probably gonna have animals, and like they love animals as well. So
That's cool.
it's
All right, cool.
yeah, so like dogs, like
So
dogs are I'm less allergic to, A, and then like they're I would say I'm more energy, like my energy is more like a dog as well. So that's where I
there
would
you
go.
go. Dope. That's too funny. When I moved out, I had a pit for a while. His name was Oreo. He was a little big pit, but then I lost him. He ran away, and then that
What?
was the only animal I had. I was fresh out of college, so I was just like, yeah, didn't know how to take care of a pet really, but I had to move back home, and then he like got out the fence or whatever, and yeah, so yeah, it was
That's so
interesting,
sad.
but yeah, and then my littlest, he tried to get a cat. We tried to get a cat for him. That didn't work. It just was just hanging out in the bathroom, just scared the whole time. We took that thing way back. So,
Ah,
yeah, so no
it
pets,
is
no
not
pets.
your family thing.
Nah. All right, so colors. Favorite color? Blue,
Blue.
red, or okay,
Oh,
blue it is. All
oh
right.
wow, that's the first option. I thought it was. I didn't know it was gonna be multiple choice.
Yeah, it's just blue,
I
red,
thought it
or
was gonna be a
yellow. This
short
is that.
answer.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Since you are in music talent management, favorite artist, favorite music artist, or two or three. 'Cause I know sometimes that's a hard one.
So I'm gonna go with like classics for me. So this is
Yeah.
where like for you, I
He says
maybe
classic, and it's gonna be like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
from the
no, no, no.
'90s.
Yeah, I mean, well, a little bit. No, because these are the two things that I grew up on because these are my dad's two favorites.
Dope.
And Jimmy Buffett.
Okay.
He loved Jimmy Buffett. And Neil Diamond also because of Sweet Caroline, big Boston sports like
Yeah.
part of like my growing up. So like those are two of my favorite artists, and then like all of the artists I work with, especially
Yes.
like people in the South. Like it's absolutely insane to see the talent and the different genre of people and people going into it. Like for me, um music wasn't a big part of my, like I said, like those two artists are a big part of the initial point of my thing. I know this is lightning round, but I'll give a quick like music
No, you're
summary
good.
since that is my like quote unquote thing, right? And then um for a bit, other than listening to that, what was at home on CDs, whatever we could get, I was like, not listening to music, not interested in it. And then when I got an iPod Touch and was like starting to get around, I started using YouTube to MP3 and downloading songs.
There you
And
go.
that was my like, of course, pirating, right? But like as a kid, like how else am I gonna get songs and music, and entertain myself? So that's how I initially started it out, and leveraging that, and then eventually that's when my friend had Spotify, so I used that for a bit, and I got my own. So like again, that's why I'm also a Spotify kid. So
There you go. That's too funny. That's too funny. All right. So since you alluded a little bit to it, favorite sports team.
oh yeah, Red Sox, go Sox, baby. They were on a 10-game win streak before the All-Star break, but that fucked them.
Oh,
Sorry.
hey, sometimes
Yeah.
it happens. Sometimes it happens. That's funny. I don't follow baseball at all, but shout out to you. Inviting me to
I
the
know we
game
went
out
to a
here.
game,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
We gotta
Yankee
go to
fans don't
another. I
stay.
guess I have to come back out to LA, huh?
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Let's do it. We got it. What Dodger Stadium or whatever? Or you
Well,
already been to
that
Dodger Stadium because you're trying to hit them all, right?
I don't think I have, because that was the only
Oh
time I've been to
snap!
LA.
Yeah, then yeah, gotta get out there.
I gotta check my
Um,
list. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely do. Like that
cool.
was the next step. So yeah.
All right, so let's get into a little tech. Favorite social media app. This might
I mean,
change now.
Farcaster.
Okay,
Farcaster,
so they
easy.
took the top spot already, huh?
I mean, what would have been before that?
I don't know.
Reddit. Actually, still Reddit
Oh
though.
yeah, see,
Still
there you
Reddit,
go.
maybe. To
Yeah,
be
see,
honest with you, it's like That's like favorite. Okay, like if you look, I have at least an average of 1 hour since like January 28th, 2021. So like 4.5 years, right? Like I probably have at least an average of an hour. And then I probably use it for garbage before that. But like since
Right.
then it's been learning like stuff. And like I've been very excited about like using it and social media to leverage my business knowledge. And like for a point, I did that for my algorithm, and now my TikTok algorithm is garbage and like only selling me stuff.
Yeah.
And like I do not like it at all. So like I never scroll through it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Happens. It's all
it's a
good.
thing.
The
Yeah,
damn algorithms.
yeah.
Are you a PC or Mac guy?
PC.
Okay, for sure.
I have
Never
a Mac
switching.
though too.
Do you?
I mean, I'm on the PC right now. I built a desktop, so
There you go.
that's why PC
I've been
always.
through that journey a long time ago. It's fun.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When? So like what years of because
Oh,
like tech, I'm trying to figure out.
um, it was before, probably right after high school. So probably like 19, 20, 21. Yeah. Long,
So what year was that?
dude, I don't know. So I graduated in '03, so around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too funny.
So what kind of how big was your computer? Like
Wait, what do you mean how big? Like how what do you mean?
literally big. Like was it in a
It
case
was
and everything?
yeah,
Like a
yeah, it
normal?
was a
Oh,
yeah, it was
but
like
you
a
built so
gaming.
you built it? That's it. So
Mhm.
where'd you find your information for that back then?
What do you mean that wasn't that wasn't
Like
like
books
that
and
old
shit?
long ago? No, like the internet
The
still,
internet?
bro.
Okay, I don't know.
You're clowning on me, see? No, it
Dude,
wasn't
I don't
that
know.
long
YouTube
ago,
wasn't
brother.
around.
That's too
But
funny.
YouTube
He's
wasn't
like
around in
he's like
2003.
you nah, yeah, it wasn't like
So that's
yeah.
what I'm
So
saying.
just
So like
like
I learned from
tech
YouTube
blogs and
for
stuff. Yeah,
building mine. So that's why I'm asking. Is
got
that
you.
not a
Yeah,
fair question? Even
it
if it
is.
is
If
on
you
the internet,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. I haven't been always been in YouTube University, you know. Yeah,
Khan
that's
Academy
funny.
was a big part of growing up too. Like they pushed that a lot in school, and I was like, okay, like seeing how this individual did this for free, leveraged that, and built a whole friggin' not only ecosystem, also gamified really well. Amazing system and leveraging like gamified education. Went from free to like creating this probably unicorn, right? Like I don't know. It probably isn't a unicorn because it's a public good more, right?
Right.
But like unicorn in that public good space in a sense.
Yeah. Cool. Too funny. Too funny. All right. All
All
right.
right, yeah,
Let's get
continue. My
no. Yeah.
bad. Not very lightning.
But no, you're good. You're good. Blockchain or AI?
Blockchain for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
I
Cool.
do think, and this is where I'm like, I do
But
think hedging your bets on AI right now is the better bet, though.
but on like what though? Just like learning the tech
Developing.
and tools, or okay.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Learning the tech, but like developing with it, like actually going out there and creating AI bots. It's that simple. Like
Yeah.
that to me is like if you can do that and leverage that and understand that, you will see it a mile away, see how to use it, see how to leverage it, see how to do it, and like when you can use it as not a gimmick as well, and other people can use it as not a gimmick as well, you'll be ahead of the curve. So
Sometimes.
like but blockchain overall is like the better tech long term. Like the AI is in a crazy bubble right now. Blockchain's super
Right.
underrated, but like also coming on its hype cycle. So like this is about to absolutely blow and then absolutely come down because the AI stuff is nowhere near like in my opinion, it's already super overvalued. So like if blockchain market right like comes up here and we get super speculative market blockchain market, like AI is gonna boom as well. So it's like the thing with AI and like the bubble with AI and like the whole reason why people and like Mark Zuckerberg is putting like I guess we aren't even talking about this on Let's Talk About Web3, which is nuts. But Mark Zuckerberg is putting like 9-figure salaries on these engineers, stealing everyone, poaching all the talent from OpenAI. I don't know how much you're seeing this
Mhm.
or what you're paying attention to. It's insane. It's like really scary because these big companies are putting so much money, so much compute, so much energy into AI because the bubble could burst at and like if the economy crumbles or like something happens like bad,
Yeah.
but the bubble could also like never burst if they do create and build tech with AI at a fast enough pace. And that's the scary thing where like the fact that that's a possibility means that that's always in everyone's mind. So when and if we do come into another bear market, and it's more when, right? Then it's really insane. And I see Candy's joined on the, I
There
think
we
it's my
go.
stream as well. So
Dope.
yeah, that's kind of my thoughts.
Cool. Cool. All right. All right. Yeah, that's all. That's all the tech ones. That's all the tech ones. All right. Then now the Ohnahji staple, my friend. The Ohnahji staple. I know you're ready for this one.
Yeah.
How you how do you eat your grits? Are you a sweet gang, savory gang? Are we putting sugar in? Are we putting salt and cheese, whatever for savory? Like what how are you eating your grits?
I
If you're eating
love
your grits.
how I know that you like yours savory, so
Yeah.
you put more emphasis and stuff on the savory ones, which is
Well,
hilarious.
I mean, yeah, kind of, but there's just more things
But
that
that's
people
inherent
eat with it.
bias. That's
Is
hilarious.
it?
I've
Or
never had
or,
grits
or savory
myself.
use
So
cases?
next time I come to LA, you'll have
Yeah.
to treat me to savory,
Okay, let's do it.
savory grits, and then
Heck yeah.
wherever Boss lives, and we visit Boss,
Yeah.
we'll have Boss like sweet
Yeah.
grits, right? Yeah, that's why. Yeah, yeah, that's the whole.
Well, boss don't
Then,
really like all
oh,
that.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's too funny. All right, well, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do
I've
that.
never had
No,
grits.
I'll
What
take I'll
is
take
grits in its like it's you said it what it was earlier, but like explain a little bit more like
it's
when you have
rice.
savory.
It's rice. It's like like a ground into like a porridge type deal. So it's pretty similar to like oatmeal or cream of wheat. It's compared in those veins.
Huh.
But yeah, it's a soul food staple, man.
I have not been a lot to the south, I'm not gonna lie. Northeast
Yeah,
a lot,
there you go.
because that's where I'm from. And then now Pacific Northwest.
There you
Got a little
go.
bit of adventuring and exploring out there, and now super northeast.
Sick. That's awesome. Z, man, you cooked. I got about 10 more minutes, and I gotta get up out of here. Bro, this is an amazing episode. Undivided Attention, episode 5. None other than you, milestone numbers. I love it. We're putting up stuff. We got to talk more about this trading card thing because I know you've been talking about that for a long time. I got some pretty solid ideas. Maybe that'll get me into the helping the vibe code thing. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's been pushing me like get into it, get into it. That
It'd
might
be
be the one.
super easy. Yeah, I mean,
Super
like,
easy.
there's a lot of things that I could use help with on that front that it
Cool.
could push that forward. Because, like, it is just its simplicity. Like, right now, if you push me to do it, I could do it. If we, like,
Yeah.
upload the rest of these
Yeah.
artists, these NFT cards up on the blockchain. Because,
Yeah.
it would be cool to leverage some of these tools that are out there. So, yeah, we have it out on base right now for Adibody's card, and I think putting all these other artists' cards out on base would be really cool, and we'll go from there. But I did try the splits, and it didn't work well, so I need to
Okay.
figure out exactly how that all works and leverage that. But that's like, if we get that done and down, like we could definitely create something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Z. Last activity, my friend. Since we have this age gap and you're clowning on me, he's like, how are you even building a gaming PC back then?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro.
talk,
Again,
talk a little.
that was when I was 4. Like I said, I don't really remember anything when I was 4, so anything of that could have been to be fake. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not a big history person. You want to know a fun fact about me? I got a 1 on my AP
Okay.
US history exam,
It's
and
just not
that's
for you.
a 1 out of 5, and that's like, but you can put your name on it, go to sleep for 3 hours, and get a 1.
Right.
So
Right.
like, and I did
So
answer
you
all the
saying you
questions.
saying you were trying and just wasn't
Not
going.
like trying. I
It just
knew I
wasn't
wasn't
interesting
gonna.
you.
No, I mean, I knew going into it, it wasn't for me. I wasn't gonna pass. I answered all the questions as best I could. I really answered everything really quickly. We did like one less than half a page whenever I could, and yeah, no, it was no. I didn't build a PC when I was 4. It was Ohnahji B built a PC when I was 4.
That's too
Oh,
funny, bro. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, but my
Um,
best friend built a PC less when he was less than 10, single digits. And that's like he
that's
built
sick.
my first two PCs. He's a big part of like my whole technological career path forward. And like you know, parents are family friends from when we were born. So we grew up together. He was about an hour away, but like very big in that part of that community and like a part of like really my tech journey because he
Sick.
was the one who really pushed me down the interesting parts of like what tech could bring.
Heck yeah. I love it. All right, Z, let's get into it. Since I'm 40 and it's a milestone event for me. Tell me a little bit about just do a little speculation, a little manifesting. What do you think your 40
Ah,
year old self is going to be super proud of for yourself?
so this is a lightning round question, or like I'm supposed to think about this?
No, this is the last one. The lightning round's over.
Okay. What do I want to be proud of? I want to be proud of the bond. I mean, 40 is not that old, right? Like you said, halftime,
You
right?
tell me.
So, like halftime in your life, right? So, I
Yeah.
want to be proud that what I have built by then in the next 14 years of my life will have been something that I can be proud showing my future kids and their generations in the future and especially generations in the past, right? Like my ancestors and like be proud of what we've built in that I can be happy that if I did happen to like 40 isn't my halftime and like it is my full time, let's say, right? Like and that is where it happens to end, right? Like that I could be happy with what we've done and like really rock it out and absolutely kill it with what we've done and like understand that what we've done is make a better future and world for the people that are there at that time in whatever way, shape, or form we could, right? So
Heck yes. Dub answer in the chat. That legacy talk, I love it. I love it. No, and that's why I align with you so heavily. It's like we want to make these cool things that we can look back on that help people, that helped a lot of people. In the beginning, you mentioned about
yeah.
solving problems, right? And I talked about this with the Ohnahji fam. That not everybody's problems align. Like a problem might be a problem to some person or a small
That's
group of
why DAOs
people.
are such a problem, right? Like
Is that
in
is
of
that
in
one
of
of the
us. Oh,
issues?
dude, like DAOs have not. There's probably less than single digits, less than
Mm,
double digits DAOs that have been successful. Like maybe there's a lot more, right? Like, but like let's say super successful in their mission, and like other ones are like there's probably hundreds that are working on it, right? In a lot of
yeah,
different ways. But and like that's evolved along the way. But like
exactly.
DAOs have had such a problem because communication is really challenging
Mm.
and building that governance is in and of itself is challenging. So
Yeah, but but we're early. We're in the incredibly early, super early days of just DAO structure and just
yeah, I
this
mean,
and the
well, we
whole.
didn't even talk about the fractals, right? Like that in and of
Yeah,
itself is the reason why I know I'm doing something that's completely unique because it's just like
yeah.
the structure and everything that's built above us. It's like everyone is so cool in what we're building, and like I haven't made my contribution to the open source community officially in and of itself of like creating a template.
Mm,
But I have created a tool and utility for the overall community, not just the Zao Fractal community, not just the Optimism Fractal community, not just the Eden Fractal community, but the whole Fractal ecosystem can
right.
leverage if they want to, and any new fractals as well. So any of these websites can potentially use that. And I'm excited to just like continue to create my contributions to the greater community at large, not only in the regen community side, but also in the on-chain music side, and like building with you and building with all of the other amazing people in the Zao has been such a blessing to just like
Heck
see
yeah.
people see the vision I have and wanna be able to be a part of it and rock it out because they see that it's worth the time, effort, and energy without that financial gain. And like in this space, it's hard to get people's time and like to just have people every single day in one way or another, whether it's in the fractals or in wave wars or in anything else or in Let's Talk About Web3. Even if there was one person, even if there was 100, right? Like it's great to just be there. So yeah, it's just a blessing. And for me, I know like I have to give back because like you've said, like, I've had such a good upbringing, had such good parents. I've been blessed with a lot of things in my life, and one of those things is the opportunity to give that to others in different ways because I've seen that other people have in millions of ways have not got those blessings. Like you can always
Exactly.
look at people that have got many more blessings than you, but you can always, like Hurricane says, you can always be blessed that you can breathe and breathe air and right, like you take 2 breaths in right now and like and be grateful for that at any point,
Yeah,
right? And like to be able to do that is huge and some people can't do that. And then like other ways like walk and talk and eat and like all these
exactly.
wonderful things like that you don't realize. And then in lots of other ways in the US there's so many things. So just blessed
1000%.
and like that's why I like to start us off with gratitude with let's talk about Web3 because I think that's the biggest thing you can do in your daily life to do gratitude and affirmations are the 2
Yeah,
things I can think you can do daily in your life that takes less than 5 minutes that can greatly improve your mood and your general stability and, like, ability to live in your emotions well.
yeah,
And the ability to do that in the morning and at night, 5 for 5 minutes, is insane, and I mean, it doesn't even take 5 minutes, this could be 1 minute, you know?
yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Z, man, you came through on this undivided attention and cooked. I love it. No, we're building something amazing. I love being just a community member in the ZAL. I love supporting any way that I can.
Yeah.
I love how we're cooking on the let's talk about Web3 side. Just having those conversations, building in public. Yeah, man, it's going to be some cool stuff. Um, I can't wait to see how your 40-year-old self and when I'm whatever age that is, looking back and yeah, we are going to definitely build some tools and some things that helped a whole ton of people. So
So,
yeah,
like, if you would say when you were 16 years from when you where you are, so that's 56. What would you be proud of what you built then?
56 for me. I'd probably
You can round it down to 55.
yeah, yeah, 55. I'll probably that's 15 years on my kids too.
Yeah. So that's like their careers and everything too, right? And like where that
Yeah.
goes with everything in life.
Yeah, I'll probably be making that switch over like my dad was talking about, like, focusing on the grandkids and the kids and hopefully they got into this emerging tech stuff, hopefully for sure.
Well,
And if
even
not,
for like, let's say your grandkids, right? Like, what will you be
mhm,
proud of what you built with Ohnahji University? Like, what part of that
yeah,
will you be most proud of building for your your future
yeah.
grandkids?
It's the
Like
representation piece.
growing up, right? Like not even like 1, 2, 3, like, but like 4, 7,
Mhm,
10, 15, right? Like all those ages, right?
yeah,
You'll have different grandkids at different ages. So it's like at different points, what will you be proud of you having built for them to be able to look at? Like, okay,
yeah.
grandpa, like built this whole thing that like does this. Like, what part of that will you be most proud
The representation piece,
of?
they'll
Okay,
see something that's a blackety black project, black and brown, like allied project, and they were like, okay, that's dope. He did that. And then just being able to for them to see that and know
that's
that
cool.
something like that's possible because
That's cool.
yeah, yeah,
I
for
want
sure.
to create something in Web3 for my religious community that I can push
Do it.
forward.
That would be
But like
sick.
I don't know what piece of the puzzle there is for that finally. Like there's like
Yeah,
a couple of different things that I can leverage and like I just don't initially have the time right now for it.
yeah,
But I'm curious how we can bring different things like that as well together because like that could be really fun to do with that guise of Ohnahji University of like
yeah.
onboarding of like teaching individuals how to understand this future of tech.
That would be
Yeah.
sick. And that would be a full circle moment for you too, Like that's how
Oh yeah.
you
I mean,
I
like
want
there's a million things that I'm working on
it.
for that. Like in the end of the day, like if and when I can create a vision for what we do in the future in content creation, whether that's in music, in development, in event planning, in game theory, right? Like all of these things
Yeah,
that we're doing. Um, all of that will be able to highlight the other pieces. And especially, like, I definitely would love to bring it back to my community because if I can help become independently wealthy, it'd be really cool to bring different parts of our culture to different places. Like, while I say there's 100,000 people left of Zoroastrians across the world, like there's only like 200 plus families in Boston. So like in that, like there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle that I want to bring back and like be able to bring to my community. So yeah.
Hmm. I love it. So Candy's throwing something in there. I think this time in history of Trump becoming president is going to be a milestone in people's mind. Considering where we are now, I would say moving the Web3 music,
That is true.
real music industry before Trump was president is where we're at. And hopefully 15 years from now, that, yeah, music industry is
That's
definitely going
well
to be flourished
said.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that'll happen in 3 to 5 years. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I got 15 will be
15 years, yeah, in this space is going to
because like
be
yeah, that'll be like being pillars of
cool.
that. So like I'm very
Yeah.
excited for that and seeing pillars like Jet Violet, right? Like
Yeah.
absolutely freaking kill it. Like all these other people that have like you said like graduated from the Web3 space, like they'll come back as
Oh,
well.
yeah. Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
like, that's the thing, like, they know the value of it because they grew up in it, but they also understand that at that moment that they did that, that there was also this 99% of other people that are out there that they could leverage if they moved and pivoted another angle, but they, I'm sure, wholeheartedly believe in the tech. So,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see, what people build and, like, yeah, this music, this, mini app battle with Candy is what I'm super excited about.
There we go.
So I
There we
think
go.
that'll be huge to grow what we're doing at the Zao, at Wave Wars, at Loans, at everything we're building. So yeah.
All right, Z, we're gonna have to come back for a part two. It's
Oh
amazing.
yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah.
bring stuff to share screen next time. So like we
Okay,
get more
sick.
people, make a plan, do it, and like really rock it out because yeah, it's always a blessing chatting with you. It's really cool to see what you've done and see you continue to absolutely grow and flourish in this space and
Thank you,
really
man.
bring together everything you've been doing. I mean, when I joined, there were probably 2 or I don't know, 3,000, 4,000. I don't know exactly how many, but like there's been at least 1,000 cents plus Ohnahji's minted. So just
Yes,
like
sir.
congrats to you on keeping that cooking. I need to get a couple more and push people to get a couple more because
That's
like
love, man.
that in and of itself is like such a big piece of the puzzle of like finding your communities and like what you guys have done and like creating some hub like people don't necessarily go to daily or weekly or monthly, but they know that's out there when they need it.
Exactly. That's the safe space we're cultivating for sure. All
Boom.
right, man.
Thank you. I
Z, Better
appreciate
Call
it.
Zaul, our amazing episode 5 guests on Undivided Attention. Z, thank you so much for letting us give you, our undivided attention, man. And
Yeah,
I can't wait to see how it grows, bro. All right. I'm Ohnahji B, y'all, the
100%.
host of Ohnahji U Undivided Attention.
I love that.
We out of here. Y'all be good.
Cheers. Thank
All
you.
right. For sure.